Hello and welcome to Sports Fan Entertainment. Here to recap the Tennessee Titans defeating the Jacksonville Jaguars 42-20. And what a nice blowout we saw here today, here tonight, as it's pretty much nighttime now. God, I hate daylight savings time and how it gets so dark these days. I gotta watch myself. I'm beginning to have faith in this football season once again for the Tennessee Titans. And this is a very, very, very dangerous thing. This is an extremely dangerous thing. As next week, this football team travels to Indianapolis, where the last time they won, I don't even know. I can't even tell you the last time this team beat Indianapolis in Indianapolis. I want to say it was 2017 when Andrew Luck was out for that year. That makes sense. And then before then, again, I don't know. Because they didn't do it even when the Colts were on the brink of going 0-16. And that was 2011. They couldn't even do it then. So going to Indianapolis and winning in Indianapolis is something that this football team has had extreme problems doing. And I'm not going to feel confident about them doing it until they do it. However, you have to feel a little excited, a little hopeful, a little optimistic after this victory. You must. This is something that you must feel. Now, these are the Jacksonville Jaguars, who, although they enjoyed a nice victory over us this season, this is not a good football team, okay? And it was nice to put a nice shellacking on a divisional foe, a divisional opponent, a rival known as the Jacksonville Jaguars. That is something that, in and of itself, I will always enjoy. And it was also nice for us to have a convincing victory throughout. Right, because the Tampa Bay Buccaneers victory, that was not a convincing victory throughout. We had to come back and win it in the late third quarter into the fourth quarter. LA Chargers back and forth. We probably would have lost that game if Ken Whisenhunt, the offensive coordinator for the Chargers at the time, not now because he's been fired since, probably in large part due to this decision, because Ken Whisenhunt decided to not come up with a better play call at the 1 or 2 yard line. Those were not convincing victories. The last victory against the Kansas City Chiefs, also not very convincing because although it was against a good football team, the Kansas City Chiefs are a good football team and anytime you can beat them, you'll take it. They dominated that football game. They probably should have won that football game. We snuck out with a victory in that football game, right? So we haven't had a convincing victory in this Ryan Tannehill regime or era, which is essentially what we got to call it right now in this moment. So we have not had that. We haven't seen that. That's why I haven't been convinced yet, and I feel as if this guy is going to fall down. We also saw the Carolina Panthers game in which the Tennessee Titans came out and got dominated early, fell down early, and was able to make it a 10-point game, but really that was not a competitive football game, okay? So come on. So there's been reasons to not really buy into this Tennessee Titans team. Not really buy into it, saying, no, this is gonna fall through any moment now. They're not really about to make a big playoff push until today. Because today was one hell of a victory, one hell of a blowout victory. And let us begin with the running back position, not with the quarterback position. We got to start with Derrick Henry. We're going to get to the quarterback position soon, though. Derrick Henry is a beast, okay? He's a beast. He is co-MVP with the quarterback today. Last week, he was MVP. A lot of people still wanted me to talk about Tannehill last week. Why am I talking about Tannehill when Derrick Henry rushed for more yards than Ryan Tannehill passed for? Obviously, that's the MVP. Anytime the running back rushes for more yards than the quarterback throws for, the running back is the MVP. Okay, so that's why we focus on Derrick Henry last week. This week, it's a co-MVP scenario. Derrick Henry is a man. Derrick Henry is a beast. Derrick Henry is a stud, and he needs to be extended tomorrow. And here's the thing. I understand. Trust me, I know that running backs in this league don't last long, right? You need to be very cautious in terms of extending them, that their second contract will not be nearly as efficient or maybe even as productive. Most times, not even as productive as their first contracts. I understand this. I'm with you there. But when you have a running back in his third and fourth years in his contract, playing as well as Derrick Henry is right now, leading the league. The past now league year, pretty much, week 14, since week 14 of 2018, he is leading the league in rushing yards, leading the league in rushing touchdowns, leading the league for running backs in total touchdowns. How do you not extend that guy? I mean, just how? Just how? How is this a guy that you do not extend? And although the quarterback position, and we're going to get to it in a moment, although we're getting better quarterback play now, still the main mover of this football team, right? The driver of this offense is Derrick Henry in the running back position, and make no doubt about it. We're not throwing for 300-400 yards. Hell, Ryan Tannehill threw for 19 times today and 18 times 2 weeks ago. We're still a running football team. So how can you, as a running football team, not extend the running back that is leading the league in rushing yards, touchdowns, and total touchdowns for a running back? This, in a league where Christian McCaffrey exists, Derrick Henry is leading the league in rushing yards and total touchdowns for a running back over the past calendar year. Almost. Over the last calendar year. And it probably will end up being the calendar year. By next week, it'll be through the calendar year. How is that a player you do not extend? You gotta extend this man. And here's the thing. Does he look like he's slowing down anytime soon? That last year of Chris Johnson's rookie deal, right? Chris Johnson was drafted in 2008. 2008, he was splitting carries with Lendell White. And he was great. 2009, he was fantastic. 2010, you saw a dip, and then he was holding out before the 2011 season, right? You could tell, you could sense that he might be on the decline, but you weren't entirely sure, and you should have just extended him, so we extended him anyway. Derrick Henry is still trajecting upwards, guys. In the way he's built, this guy's not slowing down. He's not near the end of his rope. His rope is still climbing. We're still good on Derrick Henry. You must extend Derrick Henry to me. Now, by the time you get to his, let's say you extend him to a 4-year contract, right? Which is probably what he'd ask for, and you probably would have to give him. Let's say he asked for a 4-year extension. Okay, by year 4 of that, he may not be worth it. But what you do is you front load the contract. You get all of it, out of the way early. And then by the 4th year, if he's not good, then fine, you can cut him. But I think you have to continue to ride this Derrick Henry train. This is a guy that is beating football teams. He beat the football team last week. He beat the football team this week. Period. He beat the football team, or he was large part due to why we beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoff game, why we beat the Jacksonville Jaguars in the play-in game. He is the guy at running back for this football team. You hope to draft a guy like this, and I'm telling you right now, you can tell me all these random draft running backs, we should draft, this random Clemson running back or this random Alabama running back. I don't trust these random guys. I trust guys that we see on our football team producing. That's Derrick Henry. I don't want to see a new Bishop Sankey in here. Okay? We have a good thing going. Keep Derrick Henry. Now, we need to get a receiving back next to him because he can't catch particularly well. He can't run routes particularly well. It'd be nice to have a nice running back receiving option. Make no doubt about that. But Derrick Henry must be extended. Hopefully, he won't ask for Ezekiel Elliott money. He might. And if he does, fine. Because we're not paying anyone offensively except for some of these clowns on the offensive line who are playing better. And Taylor Lewan and Ryder Saffold. Other than that, we're not paying anyone. We might pay the quarterback position. We'll see about that. And we probably will at this rate. But yeah. So now let's get to the quarterback position. Now let's get to Ryan Tannehill. So here's the funny thing. It's so funny to me when people say I owe someone an apology. This is the most ridiculous thing I've heard in my life. I don't understand how people say that I or Skip Bayless or whatever sports analyst deserves to give a player an apology. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. I'm sorry? For what? Now, hey, if I take your girl I'm sorry. If I take your money, I'm sorry. If I say something wrong about you on the football field, I'm not sorry. I was just wrong. What is this owing an apology nonsense? I don't know nobody an apology in this world, okay? Nobody. If I didn't take your girl, your money, your house, if I didn't crash into your car, you're not getting an apology from me. For what? I have been wrong on Ryan Tannehill. Okay, now I'm not going to apologize. This is ridiculous. Apologize to him or to you, but I have been wrong on Ryan Tannehill. Now I'm not going to say I was wrong. I'm going to say I've been wrong because the story is not over yet. The story is just getting good. The story is reaching its climax, but there's still more chapters to be written and told. Okay, moving forward. But I have been wrong on Ryan Tannehill. Now, there's a good reason why for this. In the period in which Ryan Tannehill started for the Miami Dolphins, we're talking 2012 through 2018. That is 7 years, actually. Okay, you can do the math says 6, but that's actually 7 seasons for Ryan Tannehill. 2012 through 2014, pre-Marcus Mariota in the league, Tannehill was all right. He had the Dolphins in playoff contention, but for some reason, they always fell flat. In 2015, between Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill, who was better? They're about the same. I'll give the edge to Tannehill because Tannehill played 16 games that year. 2016, who was better, Ryan Tannehill or Marcus Mariota? Marcus Mariota, it's not close. Ryan Tannehill had 24 touchdowns, like 12 interceptions. Dolphins missed the playoffs again. Mariota had the Titans in playoff contention more than the Dolphins were at the time. And everyone was bought into Marcus Mariota at that point. Mariota was better in 2016. 2017, who was better, Ryan Tannehill or Marcus Mariota? Well, Ryan Tannehill missed the entire season where Marcus Mariota made the playoffs and won a playoff game. Mariota was better. 2018, who was better, Ryan Tannehill or Marcus Mariota? Ryan Tannehill was benched halfway through the year, whereas Marcus Mariota had the Titans in playoff contention, and then week 17 was unable to play against the Indianapolis Colts, and the Titans missed the playoffs. I will say Marcus Mariota was better. In the era in which Marcus Mariota and Ryan Tannehill have both been playing, Mariota's been better. Like, that's been the truth. That has been the truth. Now, as I've always said, I think they're the same level. I've always said this. Go back to my video when we signed Ryan Tannehill. I said, oh my God, we have the best backup quarterback in the league. I think he's the same level as Marcus Mariota. Yes, I think there's only a 1-game drop-off between the two, and that 1 game is just because I think Mariota will make the play to win the game, whereas Tannehill will not, because he showed multiple times when the Dolphins were in playoff contention that he would fall flat a lot of times. But then you look at that Miami Dolphins situation. Bad offensive line, bad head coaches, wide receivers were they were okay, but yeah, mediocre at best. Jarvis Landry was there, and he was good, and he produced under Ryan Tannehill. This was Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace was there, and this was when Mike Wallace was still decent. Kenny Stills, same thing. So the receivers weren't trash. Like, you look at the Miami Dolphins, Jarvis Landry, Mike Wallace, and Kenny Stills, those are better than all of our receivers pre-Corey Davis. Like, from 2011, maybe 12, from 2012 to 2016, we didn't have one wide receiver that was as good as Jarvis Landry or Kenny Stills. And then Mike Wallace, we can have that debate. So wide receivers are mediocre. Tight ends awful. And what a position. Running backs, pretty damn awful as well. And with all of that, he missed the playoffs every single year. 1 year, he had them in position to make the playoffs, and he got injured. And then Matt Moore was able to win 2 of the last 3 games to get them to the playoffs. That's what we saw from Ryan Tannehill. Not very inspiring to me. So I preferred the guy that led us to the playoffs and won us a playoff game. Look, I'm a loyal guy, okay? Look, I am, to a fault, okay? I'm a loyal man. I'm a black man. Black men don't cheat. I'm a loyal man. Okay? Look, I've never cheated in my life. I'll never cheat. I'm loyal with my friends. I'm a ride or die friend. When you show heart and loyalty and production on the football field, I'm bought in, man, and I will have your back to a fault, even sometimes. Tannehill's better right now. He's better right now. And that's just the truth. And it's a very interesting scenario. And it's not that I want the best thing for this football team. Number one, right? That's my wife. Okay, that's my number one wife. But Mariota's my boy. That's my dog, you know? I want my boy and my wife to get along. I wanted them to get along. I wanted us all to get along and grow together. That's what I want. I'm loyal to everybody, man. I wanted my boy to see it through. That's what I wanted. That's what most of us wanted. We just wanted our boy. This is our boy. We made great memories with our boy here. This was our boy that won us a play. This was our boy. But Tannehill has us in the right direction. And you can't deny it at this point. I mean, the guy today, his passer rating is 155 on the season. It's now got to be over 110. It was 104 coming into this game. Now it's got to be over 110. And he still has his issues. But, I mean, in terms of quarterback play, it's a 9 out of 10. It's like only 1 point away from being perfect quarterback play from Tannehill. The only thing is, he's still fumbling the ball too much. I know he's been blindsided, but he needs to recognize that Dennis Kelly's in the game. I can't trust Dennis Kelly. I need to get rid of the football, or I need to better hold on to it because we just can't keep having these fumbles. Because, look, you can say this. Hey, Mariota only had 2, maybe 3 turnovers on the year, 2 interceptions, maybe a fumble or 2. I don't feel like it. I'm even sure he had 1. But Mariota had 2 interceptions on the season. Tannehill has 4, and I want to say he has at least 3 fumbles. So we have a spike in turnover since Tannehill's gotten in. But we have more touchdowns, and that's what this team needed. And, again, and this team needed for the offense that they created, they needed a guy that could just go in and be quick and decisive and accurate with the football, and that's what Tannehill has over Mariota. And I'm very intrigued. I really want to see what Mariota does with the next football team. Because I'm telling you right now, look, y'all really believe, Lamar Jackson is more athletic than Mariota. Make no doubt about it. But the difference between Jackson and Mariota, as I said a couple weeks ago, the most athletic quarterbacks in the league, it goes Lamar Jackson 1, Kyler Murray 2, 3, to me, it's Marcus Mariota. Like, honestly, then maybe, am I forgetting? Cam went healthy. Then, like, Mariota 4, who's also near, like, Deshaun Watson and Russell Wilson. Honestly. So, if Mariota gets the Lamar Jackson treatment, he's going to succeed, dog. As long as he stays healthy. He's not stay healthy. But he's going to succeed. And we just never gave that to him. And that's a sad thing. That still bothers me. It does. He should have got the Lamar Jackson treatment. We could have solved that from him. But for right now, for the offense that we've created, Tannehill's a better fit. And Tannehill's doing well. We are now the Tannehill Titans. Welcome to the Tannehill Titans. And we'll see where we go from here. And we do also see with some NFL quarterbacks in this league. For instance, like an Alex Smith, who was worse in his stint in San Francisco, by the way, until the very end when Jim Harbaugh came in. But we see a guy like an Alex Smith who wasn't a solidified franchise quarterback, or not even a solidified starting quarterback early in his career, but then by his 30s ended up being a solid quarterback. Another example, you don't see it too much recently, but in the past you've also seen it with some examples that aren't really coming to thought right now. But you can see NFL quarterbacks who might start early for a team, do okay, and then end up being a backup, and then end up starting again and doing well. And I think that's kind of what we're seeing. Kind of saw that with Kurt Warner. Kurt Warner had a great end to his career after the start of his career was, start of his career was great, middle was, and then he had a great resurgence. Any other examples I can really think of? Not quite. It is rare, but we might be looking at, a scenario here where Tannehill was never bad. I never said Tannehill was bad. I said the bad game is coming, but I've always said I think Tannehill's an average quarterback in this league. I take him over Andy Dalton. I take him over numerous Jameis Winston. I take him over numerous quarterbacks in this league. If you ask me to rank all 32 quarterbacks, he's going to rate about 16 to me. I just still thought Mario had a potential to be top 10. And right now, Tannehill's playing top 10. Hell, he's playing top 5. I mean, he's playing really well. So we're going to see how far this takes us, but it was great. And then A.J. Brown, it's electric. Oh, it is electric. You can feel the A.J. Brown electricity flowing through the building. Like I said 2 weeks ago, there's no reason why A.J. Brown should not be the Juju Smith-Schuster rookie year. There's no reason why. I mean, just get the ball in his hands and it's over. I mean, it's just that simple. This is why I was so excited when we drafted this kid. He and also Harold Landry. Oh, Harold Landry. These are two bona fide superstar second-round picks that this football team has drafted in the past 2 seasons. Probably better than the first-round picks, although I'll give Jeffrey Simmons some time. But make no doubt about it. Harold Landry's better than Rashaan Evans, although I like Rashaan Evans. And right now, A.J. Brown's better than Jeffrey Simmons, who has kind of disappeared. But I'll watch the tape. Because it's hard to tell what defensive linemen unless they're really getting sacks and tackles for losses. He might still be doing fine. But, still, A.J. Brown's making more of an impact. I like A.J. Brown. Although he had a drop today. He has to get those hands more solidified. Make no doubt about it. But I'm loving me some A.J. Brown. That's a 1,000-yard wide receiver that we have right there. And we have 2,000-yard wide receivers on a good year. Because here's the thing. And we're going to keep Arthur Smith. But, and we are a running football team, which I get. And it worked today. But, they're still not going to be the 1,000-yard receivers that they deserve to be. I mean, still. Like, A.J. Brown is going to end up with, 800 receiving yards. Corey Davis, he's probably going to have, 700. Maybe 6. He only had 29 receiving yards. Today he missed a game. These should be 2 1,000-yard wide receivers in this NFL football league. And they're not even going to come close, really. Practically. So it's just, and we don't even have a tight end position. Jonnu Smith, goose egg today, had a nice run. But we don't really have a real tight end position right now. And even still, these wide receivers aren't going to break 1,000 yards. It's whatever. So, great stuff offensively. First half, we had some mistakes. The Tannehill fumble and the A.J. Brown drop, which was frustrating as well. But, the offensive line is definitely starting to run block better. The pass protection, we're getting the ball out quickly. Tannehill's not sitting in the pocket looking. He's just finding the first thing he's getting out there. And this is actually different. People were saying that after the first Tannehill game, the Charger game, or maybe it was the Bucs. Which one was first? Charger game. People were saying, well, Tannehill's just getting the ball out so much quicker than Mariota was. And then you looked at the stats, and that wasn't true. If you look at the stats today, Tannehill got the ball out quickly. Except for those play-action passes. Other than that, when it was just, 3-5-step drop, out of the shotgun or under center, yeah, he was definitely getting the ball out quicker today. Those were quick, decisive passes from Tannehill. That's not BS. It was BS after the Charger game. It was true today. He was getting the ball out quickly today. So all that was great. Defensively, issues. Still some issues. And you saw our rankings. We're only 18th overall in defense, 22nd against the pass, and 14th against the run. Guys, people keep saying our defense is elite. What are you watching? Our defense is good. It's not great. It still needs some pieces to become great. Harold Landry is emerging. I want a big beast opposite of him because, he's more of that finesse, I guess, for lack of a better term. He definitely has some power to him as well, but he's more of the finesse technique rusher. I want a Myles Garrett opposite of him, and we have someone that looks like him in Cameron Wake, but Cameron Wake is getting old. He's about done. After a great start to this season, he's been quiet ever since. Get him out of here. So, I want a beast of a pass rusher opposite of Harold Landry to get out of the pass rusher consistently. That would be a nice duo to have. You'd have Jeffrey Simmons and Jarrell Casey. Casey being more the finesse guy on the defensive line. Simmons being more of the beast. And then linebacker, you'd have Harold Landry being more the finesse guy. And then a beast opposite of him. I'd love to get Chase Young. Ain't no way in hell. But I'd love to get Chase Young. I'm just going to throw that out there. You you look at our inside linebackers, Jaylen Brown ended up with a lot of tackles today. But, I don't know. We just have issues in coverage. Nick Foles today, what was his official stat line? Let me look at it real quick. He had 272 yards, 32 of 48. And I know he went to a prevent defense. I understand that. But you just feel like it's just not good enough. Like, it's going to give us problems, especially as we're about to go face the Indianapolis Colts and we're going to face the Texans twice. Like, do you really think we're going to stop Deshaun Watson in that Texans offense right now? Do you really think that's going to happen? No way. They're going to put up both games at least 24 points on us. At least, I'd argue 30. And I'm afraid for 30 plus. I mean, that's what we're really facing right now. That's the fate in which we're staring down. And it's a very scary fate indeed. So hopefully we're able to tighten it up. No pun intended. I don't know where the help's really going to come from. I just think the defense is what it is until next season. And especially with Malcolm Butler being out, now LaShawn Sims has to play a lot more. And you're seeing, some of the issues that he's having. So, Dory Jackson and Logan Ryan are still good. Kevin Byard is still good, but Carl's having some issues. He had his sack today, and make no doubt about that. But it's just not great. It's not a great defense. Although they were playing great early, and I think in large part that was due because although you can hit on Mariota all you want, he doesn't turn the football over. At least this season, he only had 2 interceptions and maybe a fumble this season, right? So that allowed the defense to be, well rested. They weren't trot out there, unexpectedly. But then lately, Tannehill's been turning the ball over. Although he's playing well, he's been turning the ball over, and so has Derrick Henry. And now the defense is showing more holes, right? So if anything, you could say the defense was great early this season when we weren't turning the ball over offensively. But now that we're turning the ball over offensively, it's showing cracks. It's showing weaknesses. And that's my main deterrent to why I say I still have my major doubts whether or not we're going to make the playoffs. And if you ask me right now, I still say no. Now, if we go and defeat the Indianapolis Colts next week, I will feel confident. Because not only is that a big game in terms of division, it's a huge game in terms of wild card. I mean, we are now legitimately in the wild card discussion where the Oakland Raiders and the Steelers ended up winning, but where the Oakland Raiders and the Pittsburgh Steelers reside, currently at 6-5, we face the Oakland Raiders this season. We can get a leg up, a tiebreaker on them. Now, unfortunately for us, their schedule is pretty easy. Even if they lose to us, they still might go like 10-6. Honestly, I think they faced the Chiefs twice, or at least one other time. Let me say, I know they already faced the Chiefs. I think they faced them one more time, so that should be another loss for them. But yeah, even if we beat the Raiders, I think their schedule is still easy to where they can make the playoffs. I'm looking at the schedule now. They go at Chiefs. They're going to lose that one next week. Then they host us. Then they face the Jaguars. They travel to LA. They travel to Denver. I feel comfortable saying they're not going to go 10-6. Then I feel comfortable saying, if they lose to us, they'll go 9-7 at best. Then we'd have the tiebreaker over them, so we'd be good. Okay, so Raiders is a big one that we have to defeat. You look at the Steelers. I don't think the Steelers are really in it. Like, they're in it in record and mathematics only. I think they lose some of their upcoming matchups. Some look at their schedule. They host the Browns this upcoming week. That's going to be interesting, especially with all the drama going on there. But with Mason Rudolph being suspended, or not suspended, with him being benched, maybe should have been suspended, but with him being benched, so he's sitting on the bench anyway. We'll see what Devlin Hodges does if they end up starting for this game. Then they travel to Arizona. They host the Bills. They travel to New York to face the Jets, and they face the Baltimore Ravens. I don't think the Steelers are going to finish any better than 9-7. And I personally would slate them for, about 9-7. They probably will end up going 9-7. So we'll see, though. It could be 8-8, but probably 9-7 for them. And then you look at the Colts and the Texans in our own division. There's a great opportunity here. If we lose this game, I do think we're done. I won't say we're completely done. That'll only be our 6th loss, and then who knows, maybe we could win out after that. But the problem is, right now the Texans have a decided advantage over the Indianapolis Colts, having beat them Thursday Night Football. They split their season series, but they're obviously a game above them right now. If you lose to the Colts again, you're now 1-3 in your division, where the Texans and the Colts will now have at least a game over you. I don't see how you end up getting the wild card over one of those two teams. So maybe we might see 3 teams from the AFC South make the playoffs. It's going to get very interesting. And then you also have to look out for the Buffalo Bills. That's the other team to look out for. Let me look at their schedule real quick. And I know that they beat the Broncos today, so they're 8-3, which is great. But their schedule gets a lot more difficult. Next week, they travel to Dallas, where I think they lose. They then host the Baltimore Ravens, I think they lose. They then travel to Pittsburgh, I think they lose. They then travel to New England, I think they lose. Then they host the Jets, I think they win. I think they go 9-7, despite being 8-3 right now. So it's going to be a 9-7 party for these wild card spots. That's what I'm projecting. I think we're going to lose next week in Indianapolis. Despite how well we're playing right now, I think the Colts come out with a great game plan and they defeat us next week. This is what I think. But regardless, I think it's going to be a 9-7, 10-6 party where one of the Texans and Colts will get with that first wild card as a 5th seed at a 10-6. Yeah, at a 10-6 record. I feel comfortable saying that. And the other one, the 6th seed, will go to a 9-7 team. One of these teams that's going to be attending this 9-7 party. And I think that party will consist of us, the Oakland Raiders. Well, actually, do I have the Raiders going 9-7? Let me look at the schedule one more time. Well, but definitely us. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers, after just looking at their record, the Buffalo Bills, and maybe the Oakland Raiders. And then tiebreakers is going to decide everything. And that's going to put us through the ringer. Raiders, I would slate them for 8-8. I think Raiders are going 8-8. So I think it's going to be us, Buffalo, Pittsburgh, 9-7. We'll see how the tiebreakers shake out. Now, currently, you look at the standings, and you look at the AFC records for these individual teams. Let's look at that real quick. In conference, the Steelers are 5-3. In conference, the Buffalo Bills are 6-2. In conference, the Tennessee Titans are 4-4. So we're already bad in conference. Now, there's still plenty more games to be had in conference, but you don't like that. And then also they do, record. I want to say conference record comes before this tiebreaker. Someone told me in the comments I was wrong, but the other possible tiebreaker is record in common games. And for that, we lost to the Buffalo Bills, so that's an L for us. Whereas, there might be some other matchups in there that might have taken place. So it's going to be a mess. Honestly, though, right now, if you ask me today, and you guys will ask me, I see us finishing 9-7. I think we go out, and I think we lose to the Indianapolis Colts next week. But I think we beat Oakland in Oakland. I think we beat Houston in Tennessee. And honestly, right now, I think we might beat New Orleans. I think we might upset New Orleans. That one's on the edge for me. But I'll tell you, it'll either be, that one's on the edge for me. That one's really on the edge for me. We'll either beat the Colts next week or we'll beat New Orleans, to me. That's what I'm feeling. But 9-7 or 8-8, that's what I'm feeling. Okay, however, if we go out and we defeat the Colts next week, I think we're winning out. No, I think even then, because we start to face the Texans, and I don't think we beat Houston in Houston. Even as well as we're playing, I don't think we beat Houston in Houston, and beating the Saints it's too much to ask. So even if we win in Indianapolis next week, I'm not going to say we're going to win the division. I think the division is lost. Because I think we're going to lose to the Texans week 17 ultimately, and that's going to be all she wrote. Even though that game might come down to the division. It might. First of all, we get the Texans first in Nashville. We might beat them there, and then it might come down to us versus the Texans for the AFC South. It might. Week 17, and I think we lose. I really, really think we lose. I don't give us much of a chance in that game. But after this game, you have to have a little hope. You have to have a little faith. We're still alive. We're in it. We'll see. I'm a little excited. I'm not too excited. But for right now, you have to like what you see. So with that said, let's move on to the chat and let us discuss what you guys have said in the chat. One super chat disappeared, but it was by Kick It with a King. I can't remember exactly what he said, but he said something along the lines of Tannehill is the truth. And I have to agree with that right now. He's playing great. Garrett Sanders gave a super chat. He said Derrick Henry is the Jaguars' daddy. Tighten up. And I have to agree with that. How can you not agree with that, man? He absolutely owns the Jacksonville Jaguars. Ian gave a super chat. He says, crown the king in reference to Derrick Henry. And of course, man, Derrick Henry is an absolute beast. He is a king. He needs to be extended. What else do we have here? Ian also said, couldn't have described the quarterback situation any better. We're in the same boat. Yeah, I mean, pretty much. I mean, again, because it's just, it still is, although it's less of a discussion now, but it's still like the big Mariota versus Tannehill thing. And guys, I'm a loyal guy. You know, I'm sorry. I'm just a loyal guy. It's gotten my heart broke more times than you'll ever know. And that goes beyond football. Oh, my first love. But still, okay. You know, I gotta admit, when it's time to admit, man, it's time to move on. And it's time to move on right now. Oh, my heart. All right, we also had a super chat from Garrett said, this is a priority in the offseason is to get depth. That's a huge reason why the Titans are stuck at 97 every year. Depth is a must to make a jump. You know, in this case, I kind of have to disagree with you. I don't think the depth on this team is the problem. First of all, we've had some more injuries lately. Gerald Casey missed the game. You know, we had Taylor Lewan, who was suspended early in the season. We've had some injuries, but I just think we're missing some top-end talent, primarily, more so than depth. Because I don't think there's a huge drop-off from Nate Davis to Jamil Douglas. There's not. They both stink. I don't think there's a huge drop-off from, look at our wide receiver position now, Corey Davis to A.J. Brown, or even A.J. Brown to Adam Humphries. There's not a big drop-off there. Running back position right now, there's a huge drop-off because Deion Lewis is a damn disaster. Quarterback position, there's great depth. Marcus Mariota right now is the best backup quarterback in the league, if you ask me. Although there's a lot of Mariota haters right now, that's fine. You look at the defensive line, could use some more depth. You know, I'm not a big Isaiah Mack fan. He does all right, but I'm not a big Isaiah Mack fan. Linebackers, there's depth. You know, David Long and Wesley Woodyard, although he looks a little old and slow out there, but he's still decent depth. And look at the cornerbacks. We could use some more cornerback depth. I thought we should have took a cornerback in this past draft. I don't know why we didn't. Easily we should have took a cornerback in this draft. Although Amani Hooker does play a lot of corner, so I'll grant it that. But yeah, Amani Hooker. You know, Kenny Vaccaro to Amani Hooker. That's good depth. I don't buy the depth thing. I think we're missing number one coaches that know how to use talent, but we don't have superstars on this team. And Derrick Henry is the closest we have to it, and we're using it. And A.J. Brown is now looking like more of a superstar, so that's great. And Kevin Byard, you know he is. Rashaan Evans, I'd like to make that superstar leap. Harold Landry's getting close. Jeffrey Simmons was showing signs, but he's fading away now. I just think we need some true, legitimate superstars on this football team, more so than depth. I think we're just missing more top-end talent than depth. I don't think it's a depth thing. I have to disagree there. All right, so with that said, I'm moving on to the chat. If you want me to answer anything, at me at SportsFan Entertainment, and I will answer your question. We will begin. This was a while back. Leonard Aiken says the offensive line is looking much better. Didn't see Nate Davis, but did he play better? Well, a lot of our successful runs were to the left side today. I mean, Taylor Lewan and Ryder Saffold, they are definitely coming together as a unit, as a duo. They are definitely leading the way in terms of that. But the thing with Nate Davis, he's been so awful. Like, literally, he's been so bad. If I don't hear his name, that's an improvement. If I don't see Nate Davis, if I don't see him on the floor, on the ground, you know, wailing on the ground like a baby, that's an improvement already. So, yeah, I'll say Nate Davis was improved today. But it's not hard to improve from, dude, the guy's PFF rating is like a 29. That's not hard to improve on, but I think he improved upon it today. All right. Corbin Anderson says, at SportsFan Entertainment, losing Malcolm Butler was a big deal. And yeah, absolutely, indeed. It was definitely a big deal. And it's going to hurt us down the stretch, especially when we face Houston, man. I mean, I just don't see us beating Houston. The good thing with New Orleans is Michael Thomas is their only wide receiver. Ted Ginn can make some plays, but really it's just Michael Thomas that you have to look out for. So that's why it gave us actually a good shot at beating New Orleans, and they're going to be on the road. And, they've been a little vulnerable lately. So I think if we could beat the Chiefs, we could beat New Orleans. But I do not see us beating Houston, and they might still sweep us, to be honest with you. I'm kind of going out on a limb to say that we're even going to beat them in Tennessee, but I think that we will. Leonard Aiken says, can we get a compliment to Landry? Hopefully, man. I mean, that's what I want next draft. That's number one to me. That's the number one priority to me. Assuming we extend Tannehill, and that looks like a likely scenario. Assuming we extend Derrick Henry, that looks like a likely scenario. Unless if Tua Tagovailoa falls to us, which, by the way, is a distinct possibility now with his injury. Unless if that happens, I want an edge rusher to compliment Harold Landry. And I still curse the gods for not allowing Brian Burns to fall to us in the first round. The Carolina Panthers defensive end. I wanted Brian Burns so bad. And it would have been so perfect on this football team right now. I think it would have us another win right now, honestly. But, and they would be really happy right now sitting here at 7-4 instead of 6-5. But we'll take what we can get. Oh no, we already got into that. What else? Minecraft God 69 says, you think Mariota would be a better fit for the Bengals or the Chargers? Well, as currently constructed, I'll say the Bengals. Now, the problem with the Bengals is right now, I'm not sure if Zach Taylor's going to see another season. I assume he will because they knew the team was going to stink. I don't know if they knew it was going to be to this extent, but they knew that. So, if it is the Bengals, I'd love to see Mariota with A.J. Green, Tyler Boyd, Tyler Eifert, assuming he's healthy, although that is an assumption, Joe Mixon, doing some things out there in Cincinnati. But number one, I want to see him in Chicago. Number two, I want to see him in New England, kind of, to be honest with you. I just want to see him succeed. Look, I'm a Titans fan through and through, and they have my loyalty, number one. But Mariota's my boy. Yeah, that's my boy, right? He earned my loyalty. He did. And I'm never going to root for him to beat our team specifically. No, I will never do that. If it's Mariota versus the Titans, I'm picking the Titans every time. But I'm going to support him. I'm going to support him. I'm sorry. I'm a loyal guy. I'm going to support Marcus Mariota wherever he goes. I'm going to support him. I'm going to watch him. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. I prefer to see him in Cincinnati. I think he could do fine in L.A., but I think L.A., their offensive line right now is garbage. They drafted these two guards, Forrest Lamp and what was it, Dan Feeney. They stink. The running back position right now is good, but that's about it. Now, Keenan Allen can play, and Mike Williams is okay. But I don't think Mike Williams and Mariota is a good fit. And Keenan Allen and Mariota is a pretty damn good fit. But I would just prefer to see him in Cincinnati of those two, to be quite honest with you. Although the Bengals do stink, so maybe I shouldn't say that. All right, next we have Ryan, who says, as sports fan entertainment, have you noticed Ryan Tannehill audibly at the line more than Mariota? Could that have an effect on the offensive success? I don't think I've seen that. Mariota audibled a good amount. Now, by audibling, I assume you just mean going up to the line and making changes. Maybe calling out protections, calling out the linebackers. It's hard to see. In terms of pure audibling, in terms of changing plays, that's hard to know from our vantage point. It's possible. We just wouldn't know that. I haven't noticed a significant difference in how often Tannehill goes to the line and makes adjustments as opposed to Marcus Mariota. In fact, Mariota, one of the things that annoy me about him is that sometimes I thought he did a little too much. Why is the play clock already down to 4, 3, 2, 1? Why are we? Because he's making some changes, pretty regularly. And I think now Tannehill's being a little more decisive and a little more quick with it. So I'm not sure I've seen that. All right, Official One says, at Sports Fan Entertainment, I watched LeSean Sims miss 4 tackles, one-on-one, at or behind the line of scrimmage. Each time he missed, the running back / wide receiver got the first down. He acted too scared. Yeah, LeSean Sims stinks. I'm not sure why he's had a spot on this team as long as he has had. And, I still don't understand when we got rid of Jason McCourty. I know the contract was not ideal. I'd love to have Jason McCourty right now. As he continues to win games with the New England Patriots. Yeah. But I really don't understand when we didn't draft a corner. I know Amani Hooker plays a lot of slot corner, but why did we not draft a corner? we clearly needed a young corner to develop behind the top three that we have, especially with Logan Ryan as an upcoming free agent. I thought that was a big L in the last draft, and I think it's showing its head now. And I think someone in the chat mentioned we should have got Bernard Hargraves. Sure, because although I'm not a big Bernard Hargraves fan, better than LaShawn Sims. So yeah, you're right, official one. He has to fix that. Joseph Kotke says, you see improvements from Arthur Smith? And yes, I do, and I wanted to get to that. Okay, we saw a nice reverse with Khalif Raymond. We saw Derek Henry throwing a pass, albeit incomplete. We saw that. We saw Jonnu Smith giving a handoff. Now we're getting creative. I complained 2 weeks ago, let's give a carry to Adoree Jackson. Our best athletes, for some reason, are not on offense. But, yeah, or at least are not playing wide receiver or running back for some reason. But, yeah, give Jonnu Smith a rush. Give Khalif Raymond a rush. Give Adoree Jackson a rush. Let's get creative. Let's get innovative. Let's do some fun, innovative, nice things. And then the run game was working. He committed to running Derrick Henry early. He stuck to running Derrick Henry early, and then boom, he hit the play action when he needed to. This was the best game, actually, from Arthur Smith. It was better than week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. This was better. This was the best called game from Arthur Smith this season. Make no doubt about it. I was actually really impressed with Arthur Smith today. He appears to be improving. We'll see if that is sustained. All right, I will answer one more question. King Wannabe says, as sports fan entertainment, watching A.J. Brown week to week is so fun. He is starting to remind me of a Julio Jones. In the making, how high do you think his ceiling is? Well, I'm not going to go there. Now, I understand the comparison, though. I'll say he's a poor man's Julio Jones because he does play a lot like Julio Jones. Now, we haven't seen him high point as nearly as many passes as Julio Jones can, so I want to see that aspect of his game. But just in terms of being able to take these short passes, or even, decently, distance passes, not even necessarily short, but like even medium passes, even long passes, and just get yards out of the catch. Just have a sense of awareness out on the football field. How to run, where to run, in order to be able to optimize and maximize the amount of yards that you can get on a given play. This is something that he excels at. He has a swagger. He has the confidence. I think his ceiling is, I think he can be a 1,300-yard wide receiver in the slate. 1,400 yards. And who even knows? I even hate giving a ceiling because Antonio Brown, if you would have asked me after his rookie year, I would have said his ceiling could be 1,800 yards. So who knows how high his ceiling could be. But right now, we got him the ball today. Let's continue to give him the ball because he has some issues, right? He needs to get more consistent with these slant passes he's been struggling with. Anything up here, actually, that's why I'm really hesitant to go the Julio Jones route. Because anything up here, he's been struggling, holding down. It just had like 3 drops up here. He needs to do a better job extending over his head, coming down with these passes. But, man, I love A.J. Brown, man. That is my dog. That's my boy. If I get any Titans jersey, it's going to be Derrick Henry, and it's going to be A.J. Brown. So, with that said, that's going to do it for me here, MJ Sports Fan Entertainment, as the Tennessee Titans get it done. They defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 42-20. We have cautious optimism here in Nashville, Tennessee. If we win next week, it's going to be okay. It's going to be some real optimism now. It's going to be some good optimism now. We're not going to party. We're not going to, start, saying that the fat lady's singing, because with the last 2 games that we have on this schedule, you could lose out of the playoffs. So even if we win the next, 3 games, if we win the next 3 games, I want to hear no one say, zoop, 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 zoop. Because if we lose the last 2 games, we're done. We're out. Just like that. Against the Saints and the Texans. This is a difficult schedule. So, we're doing well right now. Hopefully we keep it going, but there's still a long way to go. So with that said, that's going to do it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video. Until next time, this has been MJ of Sports Fan Entertainment. I'm out. See you all later.